So I don't want to spend forever talking about your time as a video producer, because I don't want to talk to you about your books and being an author. That's what my viewers want to know more about. But I did want to ask you, were, I believe, a producer on the film version of Choose Your Own Adventure. Am I getting that right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. No, those were books. Did you grow up with those, Rob? Did
I
you remember them?
absolutely grew up with them. I loved them, and if there was ever one property I would think that would just be impossible to adapt to a film medium, it would be the Choose Your Own Adventure. So how did you do it?
Yeah, it was hard. It was an incredible creative challenge. So I grew up with those books. I was not a big reader as a boy, and they were really the book series that flipped me from being a reluctant reader to certainly a competent reader, if eventually an avid reader. And so when I was older, when I was a young adult, and I had been doing all sorts of basically internships in Hollywood, and I started at an agency and pushed a mail card at a big Hollywood agency, and I worked for Warner Brothers for a bit and Jim Henson Company for a bit. I did all sorts of basically development and sort of odd jobs around town. And one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to wrap my arms around a piece of IP, a piece of intellectual property, a story, an underlying story that I could help shape into something for the screen. And it was the first time I had ever done it. And I went after the rights to Choose Your Own Adventure. And the rights holders took a big leap of faith. And we were talking about trust earlier. And I think, they trusted that I had the best interests of that brand in my heart and in my head. And so what we ended up doing is we turned them into an interactive DVD movie. Now, this started in 2003. The film came out in 2006, which was well before the iPad. It was even before Blu-ray. So we basically had to hack the DVD spec to be able to deliver to the viewer a seamless branching narrative. We chose to do it animation. We chose to do it for a family audience. We had some amazing voice talent. We had William H. Macy, Frankie Muniz, who was just rolling off Malcolm in the Middle. And so what we did is we basically tried to recreate the experience of the books. But what we did do, the one change we made, which was fundamental, is that we created characters. We created a set of characters for you to go along the ride with them, a bit more like a movie than a video game. So instead of a first-person point of view, it was really a third person where you were going along the adventure with this one family. It was basically 3 kids and their uncle, and we adapted the book, The Abominable Snowman. So the adventure took place in the Himalayas, and the whole thing was about the sort of search for the mythical abominable snowman. And it did really well. It was distributed in Walmart and all sorts of retailers all over the world. And I'm not involved in that project anymore, but it's still on Amazon. You can still order the DVD. And it's funny that years later, lots of my friends have got kids that are sort of 9, 10, and because it's a film that keeps going, because it's almost like a never-ending story. As you get to one ending and then it'll reboot and you can play it again. Yeah, it's a load of fun.
Except unlike the actual never-ending story, it has no ending.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I always felt a bit ripped off of the never-ending story because there is a last page.
Well, then you get to the never-ending story part 2. It's just, come on, fellas, what are we doing here?